So many times we get stuck in the rut of the status quo. And if you can do the hard work to identify what do I want my life to look like, you will live more authentically and you will thrive as an individual, as a family, and as a business.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Chris Niemeyer. Previously, episode 74 of the 12-Minute Convos podcast. The last time we recorded, it was 2 years, 11 months, 17 days, but who's counting?
Whatever you're doing in terms of your job or in business, find a way to serve people. I think that, core of humanity is to love and be loved, and I think to serve and be served. And so if there's something you can do that is a product or service that serves people, you will do well in life.
That was then. This is now. Chris, it's such a great pleasure to reconnect with you. Tell me, are you in the same place you were when we first spoke?
Oh, well, it's a pleasure to reconnect with you. I can't believe it's been that long, but boy, no, I am in a different place entirely, both physically and what I'm doing. Since we last talked, we moved from Oregon to Florida, so I just moved a little bit closer to you,
Right.
Near the Caribbean.
Love it.
And I still have my businesses. I really intentionally designed those to run without me, and so I've got 2 online travel businesses run by great teams of employees. And in the past 2 years, I've really rolled up my sleeves on this idea of coaching and consulting. So I'm helping lead other men and entrepreneurs on this journey of living more intentionally, building their business by design, and getting themselves out of the bottleneck. So many times as entrepreneurs, we are our own worst enemy, our own worst boss, if you will. And so really trying to help men understand how to build a business well by delegating, building systems, outsourcing, and staying in their sweet spot.
Oh my, again, so let's dig into the 2 businesses just to share with our amazing audience, because it's really cool what you do and provide, even for podcasters, even for those with audiences in terms of the group travel. So let's dig into Like-Minded Travel.
Sure, yeah. So Like-Minded Travel, we're a travel agency specifically for influencers. So we'll take your online audience and get them offline for a meaningful group travel experience. So what that looks like is approaching leaders like podcasters, authors, bloggers, social media influencers with a following, and say, let's do this conference at sea or a retreat at an all-inclusive resort, and get these people that have been so connected with you online, get them in location together, because there's something magical that happens when we get to press the flesh, if you will, by being together and experiencing something together as a community. Those become raving fans for that individual. And of course, the individual leader gets compensated very well for taking that group on their trip. So that's still something that we're doing well.
The best place for us to connect with that is?
Likemindedtravels.com. Likemindedtravels.com.
And of course, there's Mission Travel, right? Where you've taken on another model of conversations through travel, right?
Yeah. So Mission Travel, that was my wife and I designed that back in 2006. Very clearly focused on the missions, humanitarian space, where we partner with churches, universities, nonprofits, those that are doing amazing work around the world to impact other communities. And so my team there provides all the travel arrangements to get them to and from where they're going. And so we're blessed to just send thousands of people out a year doing amazing work around the world and getting to partner with them in a small way.
Now, what I love about the individuals that I've had on the podcast is that these are real people doing these things. Like, you aren't speaking from the perspective of, oh, I've read this in a book and you should do it. You've been doing this. One of the things you shared with us back on episode 74 is when you travel, you use public transportation because you want to feel that real feeling, as you spoke about connecting the online with the offline. Isn't that accurate?
Yes, I love taking public transportation. In fact, 2 of my favorite things when I travel, and I've been to just over 40 countries now, is taking the local transportation and going to like local farmers markets, because I want to feel what it feels like to live there. I want to understand through the lens of the local's eye what is it like to live in this country? So, I mean, I remember sitting on buses with, a chicken in a cage right next to me, being in a bus in Greece, going up these crazy, curvy, twisty roads with packed. There's probably 100 people in a bus that should fit 40, right? We're
Sure.
just standing room only, hanging on for dear life. But those are the experiences where you just get to feel like this is authentic. I love authenticity in all areas of life, but especially when you go and experience travel. Get out of the resort, get out of those all inclusives, and learn what it's like to live there as a local.
You have 4 children. Has that number increased?
That has not increased and
All
will
right.
not increase.
All right.
We've made sure of that, but yes, we love our 4 children dearly.
How has all of this impacted them?
My wife and I, especially as we talk about travels as a family, which we do often. In fact, we're all hopping on a plane tomorrow to California. Most families with 4 people are saying that is like the worst idea to fly on a plane with, young kids. We just take the approach that life and the world is a classroom and we do homeschool. But each of these journeys is an opportunity for them to learn of their surroundings, for them to be curious. I think kids are naturally curious. They want to learn. So it just sparks questions. There's so many times where now we've got a 10-year-old boy, 8-year-old boy, 6-year-old girl, and 3-year-old girl. And we will take turns with the oldest when we get to the curb of an airport, as an example. We will say, okay, Jesse, we are going to Palm Springs on American Airlines. Once we get off the curb, you're in charge to lead us to our gate. And so he's got to go and navigate, well, where's American Airlines and which flight are we on and which gate is that? And, so it's just great for them to take that ownership. And I think people sometimes underestimate how much of the capabilities kids have. And so we just try to give them that long leash, if you will, to learn.
You have a very competitive personality. Have you seen that in all 4 children, or some of them, or none of them?
Ooh, good question. Let's see. They are all competitive to different degrees. Definitely a couple of them are very competitive. You get them on a field or in a gym and that comes out. And of course, like within a family, you're going to have competitive, who can be the first one to get breakfast in the morning or
Yeah.
what that could look like. So there's certainly a competitive streak. Both my wife and I have that too.
When you look back over the couple of years that have passed, do you have any regrets, Chris?
Any regrets? Boy, probably not starting sooner. I think some of the opportunities in front of me that I'm working on with coaching and consulting and putting master classes together to teach other entrepreneurs how to live by design, how to live intentionally. I wish I would have done this sooner because I just get fired up about helping people on this journey to live more on purpose with who they are, understanding their skill sets to a better degree. Frankly, delegating and outsourcing some of the stuff that gets in their own way. So that's an area where, as I'm starting, I wish I would have done that a little bit sooner.
Love and be loved, serve and be served. The words of Chris Niemeyer. Chris, my friend, I want to say thanks. Thanks for being true to who you are. It's now been the foundation of the podcast. People get in there and listen to, all right, what was Angel speaking about initially? And they get to hear you. And now it's a great passion, actually. It's a great opportunity, to be able to hear that you are continuing in the direction you chose way back when. The authenticity is fascinating to me. It's great to hear how you've grown, how your family have grown. I want to say thank you for that, my friend. In closing, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Yeah, thanks, Angel, for this opportunity. Really great to reconnect with you. And next time you're in the U.S., we will definitely connect. Last time, I think I was flying over you as you were driving one way. I was flying the other way. So we'll do that. But I would just say, anyone can live intentionally. You can live by design if you just do the work to understand, be a little more self-aware about what it is that you want. Try to design that business, that lifestyle, that family around the dream you have, and do the work to make that happen. I think so many times we get stuck in the rut of the status quo or the American dream. And if you can do the hard work to identify, what do I want my life to look like? How could I have my job or business that serves that instead of the other way around? You will live more authentically and you will thrive as an individual, as a family, and as a business.
Love it. Chris Niemeyer, again, a pleasure. Our treasure. Thank you, my friend, for being on what is inspired by 12-minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.